Welcome to Invercargill in New Zealand's deep south, home to Cycling Southland and the SBS Bank Tour of Southland. Now in its 63rd year, the SBS Bank Tour is one of the country's longest running sporting events and the most prestigious title in New Zealand cycling. The list of past winners is a who's who of New Zealand road racing, and it remains the toughest test of the Kiwi calendar. 108 riders, 18 teams, 7 days, 860 kilometres and only one winner. Wednesday's Queen Stage to Coronet Peak is always a tour highlight, and the 2019 version did not disappoint. The pace was on early, with multiple escape attempts thwarted in the first 2 hours of racing, before an initial break of 3 that would eventually become a group of 8 got away to a lead of 4 minutes around the Devil's Staircase on the road to Queenstown. That lead pushed out to over 5 minutes en route to Coronet as Base Solution Racing's Max Jones hit the base of the final climb first. His brave attempt off the front ended 3 kilometres from the finish line as Ida Freyre of Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel flew up the final climb to claim history as the Tour's first Mexican stage winner, ahead of Jake Marriott, Corbin Strong and defending champion Michael Vink. Freyre holds a 28-second overall lead over local Hope Strong, heading into Thursday's trip to the top of Bluff Hill.
He can't do it, no one can! That's right.
I found the legs. I felt strong. Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty straightforward sort of climb. Vink was sort of testing the pace quite often, and I decided about 2 k's to go I was going to have a nudge. Couldn't quite catch the winner in the end, but still pleased with my effort. I mean, it's the best start I've had in Southland Tour ever.
It's what everyone makes it out to be. It's tough. Yeah, right on my limit ability, but enjoyed yesterday thoroughly, just to hold my own and just get there at the finish without getting popped out the back. It was very rewarding to get up the top by myself. So it's good. Definitely a bucket list goal for the team. The 3 of us or 4 of us really wanting just to get over that line and finish it. Just be great hitters from South and just trying to tick a bucket.
Well, day 4 today. It's the dreaded Bluff Hill for a lot of the riders. They fear this hill. Last year it blew very strongly, and some people claimed that Stewart Island had moved probably 10 metres closer to Bluff. It wasn't the case. But I think it's one of those things, because it's coastal, it can catch a lot of wind. The section we're on today is very coastal.
Oh, the Bluff Hill was always very interesting for everybody. It's not long, but it's very, very, very tough. Ida's been up it a couple of times already, and he knows where he's going. Whether we can present him at the bottom of the hill where we want him to is another story, but I'm sure if he can be near the front at the bottom, I think he'll perform pretty well. Yes, for some reason he likes those sorts of hills. Yes.
The legs are there, and I reckon there's 2 battles to the stage. You've got to arrive in good shape for the climb, and obviously the climb itself is another battle, so just got to get into a good position and look after the legs.
Terrific conditions. Greet the riders here. 102 riders of the original 108 out of Invercargill. Of course, this is the stage, Doug, to Bluff Hill, the notorious Bluff Hill. It's been in the tour for a number of years.
It has been a pivotal part of the SBS Bank Tour of Southland, as was yesterday's Coronet Peak climb. These chaps in these weather conditions, and I know we're saying this every morning, Julian, but the weather conditions have just been perfect for bike racing. The tour leader there will be going, hey, what is this Tour of Southland all about? All of the stories I've heard about coastal weather. Today's the day that you would normally get battered, but if it carries on like this, they're in for a pretty good run all the way to Bluff.
So these ideal conditions will make it challenging for riders to try and get themselves off the front, as we see one of the young guys from VeloFit. These are the team, of course, from Western Australia, and that's a number of under 23 riders in the mix here.
Yeah, it's great to see the teams, as we've been seeing, the teams that haven't been in the splits are still trying to get away, and today it's the VeloFit team's turn. We saw yesterday there was some different combinations trying to get up the road. It does show you the standard and the level this year in the SBS Bank Tour is quite close. race, I believe.
Rion Nolan, a man we saw a few days ago out the front here for the ITM team, trying to get himself off the front a little bit here and see if there's going to be any sort of reaction from the field. No wind as such here for the teams, of course, Doug, and this has traditionally been a screaming tailwind at the start of the stage.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. The terrain and the conditions always play a part, and the wind factor with this is going to make it awfully awkward to split the group up. There's not the crosswind factor that we saw on the first day into Mossburn and Lumsden, so it doesn't split the groups up. The guys can sit on a wheel, you can tuck in a wee bit more, hang on a wee bit longer when the jams go on, and you can see here the peloton at the back is set up a bit, they're all over the road. This could be the start of something, Julian, in this stage.
It's Paul Wright from Wanaka representing the Central Benchmakers Will Bike team that's got himself off the front. He's got one of the riders there from the Couplands Bakeries team as they start to establish a decent sort of a group together here. Now it'll be interesting to see if the peloton decide they're going to sit up as we see some of the names: Levitt, Jackson, Hartley, Brown, Wright and Sexton. Sexton, of course, the man from Invercargill, so it's always handy to have a local man.
Yeah, that's dead right. And Tom Sexton has been obviously living in Cambridge as part of that New Zealand Bike NZ Elite Track Squad, Teams Pursuit, Com Games, you name it, he's done it. So it's great to see Tom Sexton in his home race having a crack in there with the Business South team. They've had a pretty good tour this year. They've been pretty well represented, but it's really going to be a long day knowing that at the end of it you've got that famous Bluff Hill climb.
Absolutely, and as you said, the Business South team have been pretty prominent for the last few days. I know the likes of Matt Humphreys there from Custom Canvas, of course, one of the local businesses in behind here. He was stoked to see the pink colours up there in front yesterday as we see the most combative jersey on the front here. James Fouché, the New Zealand road champion, he's driving along, but it doesn't look like too many teams are interested.
Yeah, no one's really keen to carry it on. It's a really great jersey, that combative jersey. They have a competition each year within the local community to design that jersey, and it's a very distinctive one this year. But James Fouché and all of the members of this Creation Signs Ronald McDonald House Rico team, they've really been aggressive. They were aggressive yesterday at the start of the stage. Here they are again, trying to just split things up, but the way the weather is awfully difficult to get away.
So once again, we see the teamwork in action. This is the team, of course, leading the Wednesday Cycles team classification. The Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel team. They're the men with the yellow jersey. So one of their riders being sent back to get the bid-ins. He'll make his way up through the convoys. You can see each of the teams with their own vans. He'll cruise back on through, pass out the drinks. They're quite happy for the group that are away.
Yeah, this is really quite established now, and these guys will be stoked to have got this gap. The pressure's off a wee bit from that huge elastic band that you see pinging from the peloton. Here we are back at the front of the main field. The Kia Motors squad will be really trying to contain this. They're going to have to deliver their team leader, Ida Freyre, to the base of Bluff Hill in as good a condition as he possibly can be.
And of course that was the young man plough rider, of course, been in the yellow jersey along with Cyrus Monk, celebrating his birthday here today on the tour of Southland. So the Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel team now establishing themselves on the front. You can see the yellow jersey tucked right at the very back. He's got a fantastic team around him, which can make a huge difference when trying to defend a jersey.
Yeah, it's the depth of this squad in this year's SBS Bank Tour, but in other editions that has been the strength of this team. You've got a few chaps in and behind here sorting out the personnel before the race. Heath Blackgrove, I know we've mentioned him before too, but they've got a very, very strong squad, and that is going to become a big factor as this race goes on stage by stage and day by day. There's a lone sheep making a bid for glory, probably going to get back in the paddock, and we'll see him at Christmas.
Well, we know we're in Southland. We see fantastic shots like this. These guys have been doing some fantastic footage for us throughout this tour here, and this is why people love to come to Southland, for the fantastic terrain to ride a bike, but just to visit, it's certainly one great place to be.
It really is. We're in a reasonably tough area out the back of Wyndham Glenham here on the Glenham Hill climb, and it's quite lumpy and bumpy. This will remind a lot of these riders of the Belgian Ardennes. It's that kind of terrain. It rises up and down. But these guys are all sneaking along pretty well. They're all contributing. There's Tommy Sexton at the front there driving it, and they've got a 4-minute or just over 4-minute lead gap, so they'll be pretty happy with their progress at this stage.
That's a decent gap to go through this rolling hills here as we see the Kia Motors team on the front, but tucked in nicely behind them with smiles on the face, of course, is defending champion Michael Vink, along with Dylan Kennett, Josh Haggerty and co here, so they're just keeping a close eye on them. Back just further behind them was the Team Skoda Fruscio team. Of course, they've got Corbin Strong, not only the leading Southlander, but he's in the top 3 coming into the stage, and we expect to see big things from him coming into Bluff.
Yeah, he's a young guy with all the potential in the world. What he's up against, of course, is a seasoned campaigner here in Ida Freyre, the tour leader, and also that whole Kia squad, as we've been saying. So there's a lot of challenges for these guys, and at the moment it's playing into the hands of all these top teams.
Tom Sexton, the New Zealand track representative, of course, a Junior Worlds gold medalist in the team's pursuit there a couple of seasons ago. He's decided he's had his day. We've seen his name pop up a couple of times in the sprints, Doug. He should just about have that green jersey here because he's picked up a number of points. He came into it with about 9 points coming into the stage. That was his mission today.
And once again, we've seen this in a lot of occasions coming towards the end of the stages. The break has blown up. They're down to 1:40. It's every man for himself. There's Paul Wright, the under-23 rider from Wanaka, riding for the Central Benchmakers Bull Bike team. He has blown this whole breakaway apart. Maddie Hartley-Brown from Pahia Tour from the Couplands Bakeries team is trying to bridge across. But this is still a long way out, and they've got a lot of work ahead of them. They'll be looking over their shoulders and seeing the magnificent Bluff Hill in the distance, but these guys have really going to use up a lot of gas before they get to that.
They've had the commissaires obviously come up to them, let them know the time checks. We see them come along with the wee whiteboard and let these guys know it's dropped dramatically over this last few Ks in towards Bluff Hill, and these guys now, they're vying for victory as we get the nice fist pump between the two of them, and it's the man from Couplands. He said, look mate, I've done it, my legs are shot to pieces, it's your opportunity here. So a nice bit of teamwork between the two teams together here to try and get the break that's going to win the stage.
Absolutely, it's a very sportsman-like thing. You are in different teams, but you are all trying to do it for the same thing. Here we go, Michael Vink. This is danger bells from the rest of the peloton. You see the yellow jersey back at the front of the group. James Harvey, a former yellow jersey wearer from the placemaker squad. They are drilling this field, but I think there's a reaction coming in from behind. They're not going to let this go along too far.
Yes, they've sucked in Paul Wright after a huge effort for him for the day here, but this is good teamwork with the placemakers team as Harvey is drilling it along here, trying to get Vink off the front. So this is interesting, Doug. I think after yesterday's climb, Vink has reconsidered things, knows the time of climbing by the man from Mexico. He knows the type of climbing from Corbin Strong. So he's trying to get a gap coming into the base of the hill.
And there's Dylan Kennett obviously seeing that James Harvey is running out of gas at the front, trying to do the same thing again. Vink's having a look over his shoulder. There is some definite panic stations coming in from the chasing group in behind, but they've still got a bit of road left yet. And of course, at this stage of it, there's a lot of riders further back in there getting a dream run all the way to Bluff.
Yes, all the way in towards Green Hills here, only a few kilometres out from the main street of Bluff. A traditional finish for a number of years in this tour. And it's Dylan Kennett, the New Zealand track representative, recently announced to head away to Hong Kong shortly for one of the World Cups. But at the moment, he's all concentration for his team leader. As they stretch things out, they've come back together. And who's going off the front? New Zealand road champion Fouché.
There's every reason he's got that most combative jersey on. Fouché has really attacked at all the right times and in all the right places. Today, it's going to be a matter of whether his form and his legs are coming on as this week progresses, because Fouché has got some goods. He's really hit the big time this year with a Stagia ride in some of these pro teams that he's riding. But back in the field, there's some hurt coming in. Some of these boys at the front for the placemakers team are putting it all on the line for their team captain, Michael Vink.
Yes, James Harvey on the front once again. Dylan Kennett. Then you've got the likes of Keast from Southland. They're the men that are driving it there for their team leader. They're trying to soften this field here. You can see the hurt on the face. They're trying to make things as difficult as possible for this Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel team as they enter into this main street now of Bluff. It's all on for young and old.
Yeah, it's really about here is where we're going to see some of the more powerful contenders try and set themselves up. Once you get to Lee Street, it's a hard right-hander, and then you're straight into it. That's Tommy Sexton taking the preem just outside the dairy with about a K to go before we turn right. So here it is. The climb starts proper. This is where we're going to see who's who in this year's SBS Bank Tour.
Base Solutions Racing have decided they're going to put their men towards the front of the field with Ryan Thomas of Australia. So they've got ambitions here today for the stage. This is a stage that everyone would love to be able to win, but sometimes the legs just do not allow it. Quite a different climb to yesterday with the switchbacks. Today, she is punchy, she is short, and she will hurt.
Absolutely. This climb is world famous in stage racing, and these guys have come down here a lot to reconnoitre and to do reconnaissance on the climb before the start of this tour. They'll know exactly what gear they're going to use, what position they want to be in the group. This part is very, very punchy, like you said at the start. You drop down a wee bit and then you hit a wee wall by the RSA cemetery and it becomes very, very steep. So it's a matter of pacing yourself through this climb. You can see the yellow jersey's not panicking. He's following wheels. He's not really giving it everything at this stage, but man, there's some damage going on in that group.
Ollie Jones and Sam Guest, they are going uphill, but believe it or not, they're actually going for a sprint preem here. It's going to be tight. I think down the inside, Ollie Jones will pick that up, but Sam Guest trying to get in amongst it there, of course, because one of his riders is well up in the Harcourt Sprint Ace. So this PowerNet team now coming towards the front here with Hamish Shrew is, of course, one of the Real Trade team riders here, getting himself off the front. We can see a few of his teammates in the mix. So obviously PowerNet, Doug, are interested in a stage victory here.
Yep, stage victories, of course, and the team's classification they're well up on as well too. So you can see, of course, lurking right at the front of this group, making it look reasonably straightforward, is Ida Freyre, the tour leader from the Kia Motors team. He is just following wheels, doing what he has to, keeping a good look over his shoulder as he goes across to see who's who, and it's going to be a real springboard. Once you get over the top of this first steep bit, it levels off a bit. Alex Heaney here is having a dig from the PowerNet squad. He's done this all week, but it's going to be an interesting time to see what the reaction is from Ida Freyre, the tour leader.
Yes, the tour leader has talked often about how he approaches these climbs. He's a very patient man. He knows exactly when he needs to put the pressure on, because it is about distributing that power across the climb here. But of course, at the same time, you roll the dice as you allow some of these guys to get a gap on the field, as we see two of these riders now trying to chance their arm.
Yeah, it's a very, very difficult climb, Bluff. It's so short and it's so steep. And this straight you can see right all the way through. Right at the top of that straight, though, you know that that's when the climb actually really does go. And here we are. Ida Freyre has committed. He has gone about halfway up that straight. It's reasonably early. He's backing himself, and man, he looks good.
Doug, look at the man, the defending champion. Look at the face on him there as it absolutely saw the pressure go on. And it's the young man from Southland, Corbin Strong, who is trying to get up onto the wheel of the man in the yellow jersey, who has a look over his shoulder. He can't believe he can't shake this young guy off from Invercargill.
This is an incredible ride here from Corbin Strong. He is digging as deep as a man can go. He's having a look over his shoulder to see what the reaction is from the fellow riders behind him. Is Campbell Stewart. He is obviously having a good day out as well too, as a self-professed known climber. But man, this guy from Kia Motors, Ida Freyre, has given everything to get rid of these guys.
He's just kicked himself into fifth gear here, and that is putting some real serious pressure on these boys behind. You can see the way in which they're riding their bikes. They're starting to roll over it. They're desperately looking for the gears as Strong once again matches his name and puts a powerful effort into getting onto the back of the man in the yellow jersey. These guys are going head to head all the way here, Doug.
Yeah, Corbin Strong will be no stranger to Bluff. He'll have trained up and down and raced up and down this climb an awful lot. He'll know every single inch of this road. And here he is again. Ida Freyre is really putting as much hurt as he can. You can see the rest of the field, other than these four leaders, has seriously been distanced. And Corbin Strong is searching for that back wheel. He's searching for a couple of lower gears. His head's down. He's having a look underneath. I think this is the point at which Ida Freyre has cracked these guys.
Vink as well. The head just dropped onto the handlebars. He can't can't believe the recovery rate of this man here. He has just continued to bounce and bounce out of the blocks here for these riders. The heart rates will be absolutely screaming, as will the legs, the entire body, as he drives his way up towards into this long straight. This is an impressive effort. Remember, he's taken out yesterday's stage to back it up on Bluff here today. This is something quite incredible.
Yeah, quite incredible. You can see here Michael Vink's trying to limit his damages, as is Corbin Strong. They're taking a very, very direct route up this most steepest part of this climb. Ada Freyre's out of his seat. He realises it's not very far now through to the finish. This is the hardest part of this whole race here, in about 50 metres around this corner. And if he can do the damage and put some time into these guys, which he is, it's going to set him up for the next 2 days. It's by no means over here for this man, but he has to try and make as much time up as he can over those two guys behind him.
Here we go, the defending champion, putting everything he can into it to try and keep himself in contention. There are time bonuses available here as well, so he wants to stay as close as he possibly can, but Freyre looks like he's going to be doing exactly what happened 12 months ago with Piccoli of Canada, the man that came out and won the stage once again in the very same team here. He is going to bring the Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel team another victory 2 days running, as Vink desperately tries to hold on, as is Corbin Strong.
I tell you what, Corbin Strong has not given up. This kid is a real fighter. He stayed within spotting distance here of Ada Freyre. Ada Freyre is going to win this stage convincingly and is going to put time into Corbin Strong. But Corbin Strong is a real determined wee fella, and he has not given up. You've got to give this kid hands for bravery. What an incredible ride.
Ada Freyre adds his name to the history books. 2 days in a row he has taken out the climbs of the SBS Bank Tour of Southland. Corbin Strong of Southland secures himself second spot across the line, and the defending champion Michael Vink will manage to get himself third across the line, but he'll be back to the drawing boards overnight after a huge effort for these guys, with the likes of Schrewers and co coming across the line here. The GC will have a shake-up from about fourth downwards, but the top three are well and truly putting themselves into a position to battle it out right through to Gala Street on Saturday.
And the bodies say it all. These boys are absolutely given their 100% effort up this climb. It is a super, super tough stage, and you can see here they'll be just so happy to have a spell, a bit of camaraderie between the boys, and there is the sign of a tired man.
The man from Mexico extends his lead in this SBS Bank Tour of Southland to now have a 35-second advantage over the young hope from Southland, Corbin Strong, and defending champion Michael Vink at 47 seconds. Tom Sexton put a huge effort into today and now places himself firmly into the Harcourt Sprint Ace with 41 points. Things are tightening up in the Jesco Hydraulics King of the Mountains, with Johan Fuller on 27 points from Jones and Freyre on 20. Corbin Strong, the Southland Hope, continues to lead in the Henderson Construction under 23 category from New Zealand track representative Campbell Stewart and Thompson. In the Stonewood Homes silver jersey, it is a familiar look with Paul Odlin over Hayden and Calder. A massive effort from the man from Wanaka, Paul Wright, to be awarded the most combative rider of the day. A familiar look once again too with the Wednesday Cycles team classification, as Kia Motors Ascot Park Hotel over PowerNet by 1 minute and Team Skoda Fruscio at 5:34.
The climb is really steep, so sometimes if you go early, like full gas, the last 500 meters can kill you and you can lose everything. So I know pretty good how will be the climb, so I save my energy like to the last moment, use it 100%, but on the final I don't want 100%, it was like 110%. I do everything today. The last 200 meters, the guy who gets second place was so close. He closed me, but just remember the hard work my teammates do today. So I do my extra power and we made it, win again, so happy. Social media now in Mexico is exploited. Everyone is post things and newspapers and TV channels. It's like crazy now in Mexico. Now everyone knows about Southland.
Follow the action from this historic race with live race updates, full results and pictures at www.tourofsouthland.com.